Was it Cardi B doing like?
Oh, come on.
Like
Kurt.
like
Kurt.
pigeon.
Can't even do it. I like Cardi though, man.
Cardi? You think she's a sports fan?
Hell yeah.
Like a Giants fan, probably.
No, she said
She's a Red
before.
Sox fan.
A what?
She's
Red
a
Sox
Sox
fan.
fan.
Wait, how's she a Sox fan and she's from
Yes.
I think she spent time in Boston.
blasphemy?
Yeah.
Blasphemy.
Well, I'd rather them over the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. So.
But what's wrong with the Yankees, dog?
You didn't see
just
her,
like I hate the Patriots, like dynasties like that.
Oh yeah,
I
I
don't
can
say
see.
dynasties, but just the Yankees. Fuck the Yankees.
You didn't see her jump around on stage with Robert Kraft after the Super Bowl?
No, dude.
Yeah.
After the Super Bowl, I started doing other stuff. But speaking of the Super Bowl, this is the Turf Toe Show.
Yeah.
What up? What up?
Yeah.
We're a video podcast show thing that airs every Saturday morning,
Yeah.
if we remember to do it. I'm Mike Floyd, joined as always by Mr. Stephen Harris,
Yes, sir.
who's in the blue
Yes, sir.
shirt, and Mr. Ryan Farrell, who's in the black shirt.
Yes, sir.
And we like to, on the Turf Toe Show, bring on a expert panel of guests to get their opinions on the weekly happenings in the world of sports. And the first topic we're going to touch on is the Super Bowl 53. And if you haven't paid attention, everybody's saying the Super Bowl is boring. So quick stats real quick before we get into that, so you know what I'm talking about. The final score of the Super Bowl was 13-3, and New England Patriots ended up winning that game, clinching their sixth Super Bowl. Nobody scored until the second quarter when New England finally kicked a field goal.
Yep.
I think the Rams tried a field goal, but did he doink it on that one, or
No.
Patriots missed
Patriots
first.
missed the field goal.
that's what it was.
Gaskowski
First
missed his
quarter.
first field goal in the first quarter.
Right.
See, Tom Brady, he went 21 of 35 for 262 yards. He had a passer rating of 71.4. Jared Goff had a horrible night. He went 19 of 38, 229 yards. He had a 57.9 passer rating. He had one interception. Tom Brady also had an interception on his first passing attempt downfield. So, Mr. Farrell, being that you are an anti-Rams fan, did you think
Rams fan? That's it.
did you think the Super Bowl was as boring as majority of the people on social media made it out to be?
No, well, I first off, I gotta say this. I despise the Patriots, so I'm by no means a Patriot fan. However, I was, I guess, by default, kind of hoping that they would win because, as he said, anti-Rams. So I wanted a little semblance of revenge, evidenced by my T-shirt that I'm today. But no, I thought I was thoroughly invested in the game. Like, I like defense. A lot of people like offense now, and I like offense, but I can really appreciate like a defensive game. So I was locked in the whole game, and I just really wanted to see the Rams go down, man. Just for that little piece of I guess a get back, saying that we should have been there.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think it was boring.
What about you guys?
I didn't think it was boring, but I expected a little bit more action. I mean, this is Tom Brady and this is Jared Goff. Jared Goff was leading one of the one of the best offenses in the start of the season this year.
Yes.
And I'll take it from what was it when they played the Eagles, when Gurley first kind of went down and got hurt. When that happened, that's when that whole team started to kind of I guess lose his rhythm. I don't know how that affected Jared Goff and how that affected the offensive scheme and all that stuff, but they started to lose their rhythm at that point. I thought maybe they would get it back in the Super Bowl, especially with Todd Gurley supposed to be pretty much healthy. But it didn't seem like it. Todd Gurley only ran, he had 10 carries for 35 yards with a long of 16, versus C.J. Anderson 7 for 22 and a long of 5. Their running game in general was nothing. Their passing game was nothing. Somehow Brandon Cooks ended up with 120 yards off 8 receptions.
That was mainly in the fourth quarter too.
Yeah, that was. And as far as the defense goes, I don't know. The Rams defense played very well. The thing is, though, that last drive, or the drive that the Patriots had in the fourth quarter when there were 7 minutes left and they finally got the rushing touchdown with Sony Michel, that whole drive, it looked like the Patriots could have been doing that the entire game.
Yes.
Like, they just decided, okay, we're done. We're done playing around. We're just going to win it, and we're just going to get this over with. It's time for us to go to work. Like, I don't know if somehow Belichick and Brady were just toying with them and letting them feel like they were going to have a chance. But that's what it looked like. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, like you said, Sony Michel had 18 carries for 94 yards. He had one TD. As long as he had the only TD.
The only TD in the game.
In the game. Julian Edelman ended up becoming Super Bowl MVP. He had 10 receptions for 141 yards.
Yeah.
Longest was 27 yards. He had 12 targets. Gronk had a Gronk type game for this season. He had 6 receptions for 87 yards. He had 7 targets. I mean, Tom Brady, he pretty much spread it out. He did a Tom Brady type game. He didn't have his best game.
No.
But he did just enough to win that game. And just like you both said, it was a defensive battle.
Yeah.
And me personally, I'm a defensive type person. I personally loved the Super Bowl. I didn't like, because everybody's like, oh, we should have had another,
Rams
Chiefs game. It'll be a shootout. And I was like, nah, I mean, that high flying stuff is cool and all, but it gets boring after a while. Then that's why you have overtimes like the way they do, because everybody can just score on will. Like, what's the point of even playing?
Yeah, like that interception. What's his name? Gilmore. The interception that Gilmore had on the Rams last drive. That made that so much more meaningful.
Yeah.
In a way, because you knew that was the way both defenses were playing, the way both teams were playing. You knew that there was no option. There was no way anyone was going to get the ball back and magically somehow be able to score because the defense was going to be able to hold it down.
I just like that, man. I just was so happy, man. I felt so vindicated. I was, I had a certain Rams fan roommate that was pretty confident. I would say overconfident that they were going to take care of these Patriots. He wasn't worried about them all week, and for what is this? For 8 Super Bowls in a row, I've always rooted against the Patriots.
Yeah,
and I guess in this case, the enemy of my enemy was my friend in a way. But yeah, man, I that team you kind of almost can't bet against them, man. And especially you give Belichick 2 weeks to make a game plan.
Yeah.
Even if we played him, even if the Saints were in that, I mean, I would like to think we'd have gotten more than 3 points. But I mean, you give Belichick and Brady 2 weeks, it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that because a couple of Saints players were tweeting during the Super Bowl saying you're only going to score 3 points in that brand new stadium. Like,
right.
I think it was exact words were like, you better score more than 3 points in that new stadium.
Right.
So, and I think somebody was saying what the odds for the top 2 games for the opener are right now is Saints Rams and Chiefs Patriots, right, for the season opener next year.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I had saw that. Those are the fine for the opener. They haven't decided which one.
That would make sense. That'd be a really good opener right there. Right. Some of the best games we've had.
NFC Championship rematches.
Yeah.
So
that's usually what they do. Because I remember when I think the Ravens won the Super Bowl. The next year they played the Broncos, and Broncos beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah,
up in Mile High.
You want to know why? Because
we got Broncos fan.
They had Joe Flacco in a 50-foot poster hanging off our stadium. We had Ravens banners in Denver, Colorado.
I slick felt I felt that disrespect for y'all being a Ravens fan, because I was like, we're Super Bowl champs, but yet we can't play at home because of the was it the Orioles, right?
It was the Orioles. They wouldn't move their game. They had something going on in.
It's like, come on, guys,
something was going on with the Orioles. I don't know how they factored into it, but
it's like the Orioles. You haven't won anything in years. We finally got something good for the Chocolate City, but it's like, come on, man.
Yeah. But I mean, how do you guys feel about it? I mean, now Brady and Belichick. 6 Super Bowl champions, 6 Super Bowl championships that they've won together. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they've done that as a team.
Yes,
but nobody in the history of the NFL, coach and quarterback, have done this together. That is insane. That is insane when you think about it. Like the fact that they've been together so long, and whatever team that they get around them, they've been able to coach it up and make something happen. I'm not a Patriots fan, but you have to realize that there is some greatness in that.
Yeah, I mean, at a certain point, I mean, like I said, I can't stand the Patriots, but I don't know if it's because I'm a little older and I've got a little bit more perspective, and maybe this is realizing, man, this is a part of history. Like, this will probably never ever be done again.
Right.
But you got to have some kind of, I don't call it appreciation, but you have to have some realization that wow, this is something that's special, man. These 2 guys together, and I think it couldn't have been done without both of them. Belichick is great, Brady's great, even though I hate to say that, but
it's like, well, you need a general to make up the game plan,
right?
And you need somebody to go out there and execute it. The reason why I'm like you, Farrell, I always root against the Patriots, being a Ravens fan, but I respect the fact that when you technically look at their roster, what they've been winning with, it's a bunch of just guys, just football players. It's nobody super. I mean, you got your Gronks. But he's a party boy, so that's why everybody really knows him. You got Edelman because he was suspended for the PED stuff and everything like that, which is hilarious to me because I already talked about putting him in Canton. But Barry Bonds, they just ran his name through the dirt, and they never could prove that he was on something.
Right.
This dude was actually proven to be on something, and they're already
Got
talking about putting him in the Hall of
suspended
Fame.
for it, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
we're not going to go there.
Yeah, Edelman,
Baseball though is a little
It's not
more
hard.
strict when it comes to PEDs and stuff like that based on their history.
Dude, who at that time, who didn't watch that? Like, seeing these
everybody
guys,
watched
just
that.
that home run race,
Everybody
like,
watched that.
that was like the best thing in
Sammy
the world.
Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, everybody watched that. But I'm just saying though that's tainted baseball, and that's why they're so. Baseball takes a whole different stance. I mean, you got guys that get suspended 50, 60 games, half the season, when they test positive for things like this.
I say let them boys take it. But
Yeah, I'm a baseball head too, a baseball fan, but same thing. It's the offense, Everybody's enamored with the offense, the long ball.
yeah.
And what in those 90s, early 2000s, I mean, that's what it was. And I feel like they probably knew that people were juicing, but the ratings and money, they didn't really dive into it too much. But as time moved on, they definitely started cracking down on it. But yeah, Barry, man, I like Barry. I mess with Barry, man. But Edelman's not a Hall of Famer to me, going back to that.
Yeah.
But, that's a different discussion. But
How do you? Excuse me, sir.
mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel? I haven't seen any more news come out in regards to Gurley in any injuries or anything like that. How do you feel about his usage by the Rams during the Super Bowl? I mean, this is the guy. They made him the highest paid running back in the league this year.
And you would think they would use them more in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I understand like an NFC Championship and going to the playoffs when he was hurt. He had the knee thing, but he had 2 weeks. He had all the rest. C.J. Anderson came in and did a great job to give him that rest and keep that team moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
For them to, 10 carries in the entire game. 10 carries.
I think if Jared Goff would have been playing better, honestly, he would have probably got more carries. Because when he did break out on a couple of runs.
Yeah, he had a long of 16.
So, I think...
Which is half of his yardage. He only totaled 35 yards.
I honestly think it was the fact that Jared Goff was playing so poorly that it screwed over the entire offense. Because they got what, 0 first downs in that whole first quarter?
Yeah, I don't think they got a first down.
Well, I think 8 straight drives they punted.
Yeah.
But I think their offense is predicated off that run game because they are very heavy on the run pass option, the play action, and everything stems from that. But I mean, you could see from the jump that Belichick, they were not going to run the ball. They were not going to run the ball. They wanted Jared Goff to beat him, and if he was going to beat him, so be it. But they, I mean, even if he got more than 10, I think they would have locked him down anyway. He would have had more yards, but I think he wouldn't have.
Speaking of run the ball, it's funny because you never think of the Patriots as a running team.
No? But
Yes and no. Yes. I think, you know what, as somebody, I can't remember who brought up this point. The Patriots do almost what the league is at that time. Sometimes they'll spread it out wide, will have an empty backfield, and other times they'll go with as you saw in the Super Bowl, they had the fullback, the old school pro formations with the 2 tight ends. They're just built. I think they're just built for anything. They're not just like Kansas City where you spread them out wide and run it. You know what I mean? I don't know. They just got a little bit of everything, man. They can do everything.
I don't think it's that they're necessarily built for everything. I think it's more that Belichick builds them for that team specifically. Like going back to they had the 2 weeks to prepare for this team, so they moved guys around and like, okay, well, we're gonna have to be a running team this week. That's what we're gonna have to do. That's how we're gonna win. I mean, it's known by Sony Michel, 18 carries for 94 yards, and then Rex Burkhead had 7 for 43. I mean, they total 154 rushing yards.
Yeah, they stuck with the run. They definitely kept.
It was effective, man.
Yeah.
In spurts, yeah. I mean, they got little 2-3 yards, 4 yards
True.
here, but they didn't give up on it. I think whereas Sean McVay, they kind of gave up on it pretty early. I mean, they weren't getting nothing, and they didn't really keep going back to it.
No, they didn't.
So, I mean, but they weren't getting nothing. Patriots D was stingy, man. They weren't giving up nothing, man. But next year though, it's Saints versus everybody. I'm gonna get that beanie and I'm gonna have it on all season.
Now, Case Keenum's making a comeback next year.
Who?
Right?
You said Case Keenum?
Case Keenum, sir. That's right. That's correct.
That's a hot take right
if
there.
he's still on the
It
team,
is. Oh, I mean,
no one Elway.
It's the grain.
He's gonna be on the team because there's no one else unless we try to get Nick Foles.
Who just bought out his contract, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna be talking about the Lakers and their hopes of possibly getting a superstar, and how that other team is like, nah, fam, we're good. So we do that. So like we were talking about before the break, the Lakers have been trying to get Anthony Davis for a trade before the Thursday deadline. We're recording this actually on Thursdays to come out on Saturday, so it's possible that the Lakers still haven't gotten Anthony Davis because the Pelicans have made no communications with the Lakers saying that they're going to take any offers that the Lakers have given them to get Anthony Davis. The last trade proposal that I saw before while we're recording this, that the Lakers added Josh Hart, Ivica Zubac, who's a badass center, Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Lonzo Ball, and 2 first-round picks just for Anthony Davis. So, Harris, do you think that the Lakers should, because let's just say they just don't make, they missed the trade deadline, right? Mm-hmm. Do you think they should still pursue him this summer or just try to wait it out and possibly get him during a free agency next year? Because he still technically has 1 more year left on his deal.
Well, the thing is, if the Pelicans are smart, they're not going to let AD get to free agency because they're going to need something back for him. So, if he gets to free agency, then things went haywire. In my opinion, there's absolutely no reason he should get to free agency. But the other thing is, I think the Pelicans are going to need to temper their expectations to accept realistic trade proposals. I mean, you can't have teams giving up their entire starting 5 and then 10 more first round and second round draft picks for one guy, because then who's going to be left on the team?
True.
So, I don't think anything's going to happen yet.
No.
I don't think anything's going to happen by the deadline today. It's probably going to have to wait till the summer, and at some point, there's probably going to have to be another team involved. I don't know how or in what way, but someone else is going to have to get involved, because also the other thing right now is just the Lakers. It's just the Lakers putting up offers.
From what I understand, the Celtics are talking about doing an offer, but they're waiting to see what Kyrie's going to do.
Right. Well, then they got to wait till the summer.
Yeah.
Right.
And from what I was also reading, is saying that Dale Demps, he's from the Popovich coaching GM tree.
Right.
So he has a lot of, mentors in the league, and they're all telling him, like, don't let the Lakers pull this on you.
Yeah.
And so there's been rumors going around that the Pelicans are letting the Lakers make these absurd trade offers to cause dissension within the ranks of the younger players, because the younger players are like, you're willing to get rid of all of us just to get this one dude.
Yeah.
So we're nothing to you. So it's creating this, kind of tension between the teams, because they lost by 42 points the other night to the Pacers.
Yes, they did. And
then you had the crowd chanting at each individual player talking about how LeBron's going to trade them.
To Ingram and everybody else. LeBron's going to trade you.
So, Farrell, you being the LA guy, how do you feel about this?
Well, I'm a Laker fan. It kind of seems like I'm a front runner this season because I got the Saints, right? The Lakers. I'm a Dodger fan, but those are my teams: Saints, Dodgers, Lakers. But anyhow, I don't know, man. I think if I understand why NOLA, New Orleans, the Pelicans don't want to make this trade. It kind of will make them look like, Magic is punking them for their player. But honestly, if they don't do this trade now, they're going to lose a lot of leverage, like Harris was saying, as far as what they can get for him if they let him get to free agency. And if they don't, if they do, they might even sit him. I don't know how they can do that. But he wants a trade.
They are sitting him right now. I want to say they sent him home the last game.
Yeah,
because he's just sitting on the bench.
He's injured a little bit, right? He's
cleared. He's cleared to play now.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. He's technically cleared to play, but they're not. They pretty much wiped him from any of the promo materials.
Okay.
Like any existence of AD in that stadium is gone.
And I was there. I was in that stadium, and they definitely had a lot of promo for him. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see him play because I guess he was injured that game, back towards the end of the year. But I don't know. I like the move. I mean, I'm a Laker fan, so I'm not a huge LeBron fan. But I understand LeBron's position. He wants to win now. He doesn't want to wait. Some of these young players, I wish they would keep them. So I'm kind of glad that maybe this deal doesn't happen right now. Maybe they can keep some of that core still there without giving up too much for AD. But let's get him, man. Let's try to get him this summer. Now,
say you don't manage to get him. Mm-hmm. Who would you try to target right now that's still out there? Because it's fair, because Harrison Barnes got traded mid-game.
Right.
I mean, technically, they claim that he knew about it, so he probably knew there was a trade in the works. He probably didn't expect him to do it in the middle of the game, but he got traded. Shump got traded from the Kings. Zach Randolph got traded the other day. Jabari Parker or Jabari Bird?
I think Greer, I believe.
The one that played for the Bulls. He just got traded, and he was a Bulls guy. Mm-hmm. Markieff Morris went from the Wizards to the Pelicans, which is good for them. Otto Porter went to the Bulls for Portis and Parker. I mean, everybody's getting traded left and right, so it seems like nobody's really safe. So even
Yeah.
Porzingis went to the Dallas Mavericks, and kind of a similar situation to the AD thing, but he went up there and said, "Hey, if you don't think I'm a part of your plans, go ahead and trade me." And they're like, "All right, bye." So who would you, as a Laker, if you was running the Lakers right now, who would you try to target if you can't get AD?
I don't know, man. I don't know what Tatum's contract is looking like.
Well, he's a rookie, so he's still, well, he's not a rookie, but he's still on that rookie contract.
So man, I don't know if they could finagle away for him, somebody real young. But then he's not proven, so I know LeBron wants to get it now. Shoot, man, I think they definitely need a big man. I just think that's the Lakers' way. They need a big man to win. That's a tough one, man.
See, personally, I would keep Zubac. I think he's not going to be a superstar like a Shaq,
right? But
he's a starting center on any other team. So I keep him. He's developing into that type of player. I would try to get some shooters. I mean, you have a point guard essentially in LeBron. You just need shooters out there. Just like how the 76ers just went and got Tobias Harris and Bogdanovic from the Clippers. The Sixers right now are stacked. Like, that's a deadly looking team. Ben Simmons doesn't have to take a jump shot to save his life anymore.
Yeah, if they can stay healthy, man, that's honestly, I don't know. I think, I know, the Lakers don't have a shot to get Zion. I know, and that was part of the talks with AD2 maybe going to the Knicks, and maybe them possibly getting the number 1 pick would, probably being Zion. So that would be something to watch for too. And depending on what Kyrie does, if he wants to go to New York. So I think it'll depend on how things shake out, man, to see who becomes available. But I think they do need a center, though.
So, did y'all see the thing with KD last night?
Nah.
So, it was a little press conference after the game, and one of the reporters asked KD, like, what's wrong? KD's like, I don't want to talk to y'all. I don't trust y'all. Every time I say something or don't say something, y'all misconstrue it and make me look to be the bad guy. It's like, when I don't say anything, y'all want to get me to talk. When I do talk, y'all say I'm talking too much. So I don't know where y'all getting all this stuff about my free agency. I just want to come out here and ball. So of course the media has been running, 100%, running him through the coals. So how do y'all feel about that? A player who's technically not a free agent yet, just wants to play for the team he's on right now. He wants to try to win a championship with the team he's on with right now, not wanting to talk to me because he knows they're going to misconstrue his words regardless. Because you see Kyrie kind of fighting back now too, saying, hey, I don't owe anybody anything. Don't talk to me till June about free agency. Let me just play ball.
Well, I understand his frustration, but that's, in a way, I feel like he should understand like how the journalists are going to work, how the journalists are going to work at this point. They're going to take everything he says and try to connect the dots and try to put in some sort of context and figure out where he's going to go or figure out what he's thinking in regards to his free agency. So I mean, that's the nature of the business, I guess. The nature of him being the superstar and being a coveted player and being somebody that people want to know what's happening with, because all these guys are just trying to get that scoop, that separate idea, and be the guy that's able to break something.
Yeah, that's the media. That's the media's job. I mean, I don't know who likes the media. Maybe there's some people out there that do, but I think very few people like, or more importantly, trust the media. And especially when you're, a high profile athlete or anybody that's in the public eye like that, they're going to be pressing you. I, for one, am more err on the side of quiet is kept, caution. You don't need to let people know what your moves are until it's time to make them, or you make them and then people find out. So, I can't blame the reporters for asking. Of course, they're going to try to spin it. Oh, well, he seems upset, or he's aloof, or whatever they're going to say. But I would just keep like Kyrie's doing. Hey, you know what? And to KD, like, hey, you know what? When the time comes, you guys will know. Right now, I just want to focus on what's in front of me. That's how I would do it. So can't knock him.
I think KD's problem though is I think he likes to talk, because don't forget his burner accounts, where he defend himself.
Old Shade Shiest over here.
Twitter fingers turn to sticker fingers.
Right. So I think he likes to be
but
out there,
and see, that's another thing. That's another thing. The generation, the generation that we're in now, like a lot of these players are young. Shoot, I'm already mid-30s. Next month, be 35. Damn. But a lot of these players nowadays, they're young. They grew up in this social media environment, and so they crave, a lot of them, the attention of the likes, or like KD creating the fake account and stuff like that. They're trying to they really want to know what's going on. They really want to speak their opinion, but they're sometimes afraid to, or I mean, sometimes it backfires on them. But I don't know, man. Sometimes you just gotta keep quiet, man. Unless you just really like, for some people that are really brash and like want trades and really like to be like a Odell Beckham or somebody like, hey, like I speak their mind at all times.
Yeah.
I mean, we know what comes with that. You put a target on yourself when that happens.
Hey, so Floyd.
Yes, sir.
You being a Knicks fan.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Kristaps Porzingis trade to the Mavericks?
Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Never was a Kristaps fan. Never was. When he got drafted by Phil Jackson, let me phrase this again. I'm not a Phil Jackson fan either. Right. Never have been. I always thought he got lucky with the teams that he had because he got into a good situation with Jordan. He got into a good situation with Kobe. He just happened to get Shaq at the same time. And then when they did the second repeat, they had Paul Gasol at his prime. He had all these guys at his prime. I never thought Phil Jackson was. I think his assistant coaches were the reason why Phil Jackson was so good. I didn't like Kristaps because, one, he was always injured.
Right.
He was just a big man. He really didn't do anything. I mean, he was just a more athletic version of DeAndre Jordan to me. He hasn't played all year long. We have a new coach in there. We got a new management team. I understand his frustration saying, like, hey, he's been through 3 head coaches since he's been in the league.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know what their plans are for him. So I can understand him asking for a trade or like, hey, what are you going to do with me? I like this whole new start for the Knicks. Get rid of everybody that's associated with the old regime. Just get rid of them and just try to start over new. I mean, we still got Frank Ntilikina out there. I think they're going to probably use that as a trade bait. But we got DSJ now. We have space to actually get players out there to go to the Mecca. So I think it's just going to take time. Then plus, on top of that, Enes Kanter is talking about, like, if you're not going to pay me, play me, trade me. So that's going to clear up some cap space too.
Might as well.
So it's looking good. If they want to go for it next year, if possible. I understand we just got done talking about KD. KD's technically a free agent. Kyrie's a free agent. Go after those 2 guys. Hell, you might be able to mess around and trade for AD. Get him out there because he wants to sign with the Knicks. He'll sign long-term with the Knicks as well.
Was that on his list?
Yeah, he was on his list. And then if they're tanking right now anyway, right. Mess around and get Zion. I mean,
that sounds like a dream scenario.
But none of them can stay healthy, so.
Yeah. That would never happen for the Knicks.
I like Phil, man. I mean, his triangle offense, I think it was innovative.
But here's the thing, he didn't really create the triangle.
No, he definitely didn't create it. I think he had situations where it just worked. The players that he had, and you said the assistant coaches that could make it work. But I think with Phil, the best attribute for him was like his mentality or his mantra of like dealing with these star attitudes together. He could really find a way to motivate them and get them to work, you know what I mean? So I think that's where his genius is at, you know what I'm saying? Managing those personalities. So cool. I think he's a good coach. But
so
everybody gets lucky.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, you know what I mean?
True that. Get lucky more than others.
All right, we're going to take one more break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the All-Star game and who we're taking.
Oh, boy.
All right, we're back. And before we took off, we started talking about the All-Star game that's coming up. And so I wanted to get y'all's opinion on, with all the guys that got voted in, who would you take as your starting 5 for the All-Star game? If you had to lead, if you were the team captains, if you was in Giannis' spot, or if you was LeBron's spot, who would you take? Start with you, Pharaoh.
For both conferences, or are you just
you're just gonna make a starting 5, just straight
period.
Up. It's just like you could choose from wherever you want to choose from. And I got the list of players here. If you
yeah, I mean, I think I would take, man. Okay, starting at the 5, I'll take Joel Embiid at the 5.
Okay.
I'm gonna do what is Giannis? Is he a 4? He's more of a 3.
He's a forward. I mean, he's like.
I like him, man. I like it. So I would probably take Embiid, the Greek Freak, LeBron.
Okay, so you got 3 towers out there.
Okay, we got a little squad. I'm gonna take Steph at the point, and then for the 2 spot, I think I would take. Man, I'm trying to think of who I like at that 2, man. Yeah, I don't like Russell, bro. I would go. I'm gonna go with Clay, man.
Yeah,
Clay.
Yeah, he'd get you 40. I mean,
we got a lot of shooters out there. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of shooters. We got some height to defend. So
yeah, you got defense. I mean, well, you got 2 defensive players. I mean, you got Giannis and Clay playing defense. The rest of them don't play defense.
No, LeBron doesn't really. He decides when to. But that would be 5. That would be 5, man.
He's only gonna play defense when he can come.
But then, especially let's say you got LeBron, he'll be the point guard essentially. Yeah. He'll be taking the ball down the court. So that means Steph and Clay can play their game.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, catch and shoot. Then you got Giannis, so you don't know who to double team up on.
Right.
And then all LeBron guys do is just run right down the middle. Right down the middle.
That'd probably be my 5.
So what about you, Harris?
Well, have you know, my simulated team just won on
Okay.
ESPN All-Star game.
Oh, wow.
So I'm gonna take Giannis, Joel, Kyrie, Durant, and Paul George.
Paul George? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. So my team, check this. I'm taking the Joker.
Okay, all right.
I'm taking
I like
Kemba
it.
Walker.
Hmm.
I'm also going to take Paul George.
Cardiac Kimba.
Yeah. I'm taking Dame Lillard because it's Dame time.
Okay.
Fourth quarter comes around. I want them daggers. And I'm taking Mr. Ice in his veins, D'Angelo Russell. Because I feel he's been disrespected. It's about time he's an all-star.
Man. Are we talking about former Laker D'Angelo Russell?
We're talking about Mr. Brooklyn Nets himself.
Wow.
Mr.
We're talking
Mr.
about-
Mr. I got the Brooklyn Nets possibly in the playoffs right now.
Wow.
Hey, they just win last night, 135-130 against.
That's
the
the thing.
Nuggets.
The Brooklyn Nets
You better
are.
be careful he don't snitch on nobody in the locker room.
Dog.
though.
I think after that whole situation, dude, and after he got traded, he realized, hey, this ain't a game anymore. I'm
He
dealing
grew
with
up a little
grown men.
bit?
He grew up a
Okay.
lot
Oh.
because he has the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. The Nets,
Dang, Barkley.
but dog, the Nets.
Where are they in the East right now?
Let me look it up. But I know that because that's a big thing because they're talking about how the Knicks are just like nobody's team right now. Standings. Let's see. Bringing it up. La la la. There's 6 in the East.
Oh, that's not bad.
They're 29-27, so they have a winning record right now.
Yeah.
So right now the Eastern Conference sitting, the Bucks are 1, Raptors, Celtics, Pacers, 76ers, Nets at 6, so Hornets 7, and the Heat at 8, which is pretty cool. Then the Western Conference, you got the Warriors, Nuggets, Thunder, Blazers, Rockets, Spurs, Jazz, Clippers, with the Sacramento Kings knocking at the door, which is amazing. I don't know if y'all been paying attention to the Kings lately. That
They're playing
team,
good.
yeah, they're playing really good. Like I don't know what they got going on out there, but they've been playing really good. So I don't know. I think this I want them to televise the draft this year because Giannis has already said that if he has the first pick, he's taking Steph
They're
first
supposed to,
overall.
right?
I think the players are petitioning for him to do it.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I know that was a big thing last year about not televising it or not even doing anything about it, which is
Because they're like, oh, we
Crazy.
don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm like, these are grown men. They get
Right.
paid millions of dollars.
right.
I think they'll be all right.
They'll be all right. This is how it works.
It's like, oh, you're gonna be mad because you was the last pick of the All-Star game.
Yeah.
At least you got picked for the
You know what I'm
All-Star
saying?
game.
Right. Plus, this is how it works. When you play basketball, when you play whatever sport out on the playground, that's how it works.
Yeah. Then like my thing is, if you was the last pick guy, then just go out there and ball out
Right.
and show like, oh, I should have been the last pick guy. I'm the best one out here.
Yeah, you can use it as motivation.
Yeah. I just
like-
want Kawhi to sit on the bench.
Why
No, yeah. Well,
do
that's
you
going
want to sit on the bench, though?
what?
Why do you want him on the bench?
Because
I was hoping he would go to the Lakers, but you know Popovich wasn't going to let that happen.
oh no, Papa's like, no, you're not gonna go to a Western Conference team that could possibly beat me. No, that's negative.
No.
Oh, speaking of that, the Raptors are talking about trading what's his face, Kyle Lowry.
Already?
Yes. They're talking about trading to the Jazz because the Jazz originally were going after Mike Conley.
Yeah.
Mike Conley, I think, has to sign off on the trade. So since he's not feeling too hot about it, they're gunning after Kyle Lowry. And so
That could be interesting.
yeah,
I mean,
this
there's
will be
still time for it to happen today, but
this will be the second big name player that the Raptors have just traded that they claim where they're going to build a team around.
Yeah.
But Masai Ujiri, that's his name.
yeah, Masai Ujiri.
He's like, I got no loyalty to anybody. It's all
You
business.
don't.
And you know what? As a GM, I respect that. I can totally respect that. But that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Turf Toe Show. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Turf Toe Show. Follow us on YouTube and Facebook and like and subscribe. And if you like what we do, hit us up. We'll get you on.
Don't forget to check out the AAF.
The Alliance American Football kicks off the Saturday when this episode drops. We'll have a bunch of footage for that. We're also got some stuff coming for the XFL coming. They're finally getting some news out there.
Yeah. You got the first coach.
AKA Bob Stoops. He's going to be the first coach. So you heard it here. Probably 12th. So next time, guys.
We out.